Hello again, everyone. I'm Leah Secondo, your host of Turf Talk, presented by Longstreth. Today, we're going to feature Division 3. And when we talk about D3, we have a number of schools that are moving around in the polls as we progress through the season and head down that final stretch in late November, early December to crown a national champion. Today, we're going to start with the head coach of Ursinus, and that is Janelle Benner. And Janelle, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Your team is 7-4 right now on the season. A little bit of a reprieve as you get set for the end run of the year, but we appreciate you being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Next up, Jane Wells, the head coach of Hopkins. Jane was hired back in 2017, is off to a great run this season at 11-2. They've on a win streak of 6. And joining us with Jane, one of their top scorers and a graduate student, Lila Slattery. Lila, thanks so much for being with us as well.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Great. Hey, so D3 stretch is going on. Middlebury's doing their thing. They're number 1 in the polls still. Everybody's trying to figure that piece out with them. You guys are doing your thing and moving along. Janelle, tell us a little bit about your team, where you are right now, and what has been successful for you as you progress along. I can't believe we're already talking late October here of the season.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast time has gone this season. We're doing well. We started off with a really tough non-conference schedule, as we always do. We try to play top teams that are somewhat in our area. So we hit the ground running and had a great start to our season. And then we're in conference play right now, and our conference is super competitive, and I love it. It's one of the top conferences, I believe, in Division 3 because the level is so high, and we feel like every single game is a top match. So it's been really fun this season to play against such great competition. So we're about halfway through our competition in conference, and we're looking to finish strong.
Exactly. 5 games left for you. That's crazy. Jane, 11-2 on a 6-game roll right now. And Lila's like shaking her head like, here we go, right? A little bit about your play, 5-0 in conference play, and where you feel the team is right now.
Sure. We're really excited for this final stretch. We kind of view the season in 3 segments: that non-conference segment that Janelle mentioned, and then early conference play, and then late conference play. And it's a really exciting time for us to be within kind of throwing distance at the finish line, at least of the regular season, and looking forward to see how everything shakes out from here on down. As Janelle mentioned, it's been an exceptionally competitive year for the conference. We really felt like, we're playing, I think 6 of 7 of our non-conference games were against top 20 teams. And we're like, okay, we did it. We made it through that. And this conference stretch has been equally tough, if not tougher. And so it's been great to be playing some really competitive 1-goal games against a lot of great teams within the conference.
You're out here as a graduate student to continue on one more year of our great sport of hockey. Was that decision hard for you based on what you want to do and go into engineering, or what was the kind of the platform and how do those pieces move for you?
Yeah, for me, I feel like using my extra year of eligibility was kind of a no-brainer. I had it and I love the sport, so why not try to use it? And then, of course, looking for a degree that fit what I wanted was a little bit tough, but I'm glad I found the perfect fit here.
Mm-hmm. Explain to our viewers exactly what you're going to do with that engineering degree.
Well, hopefully I can become a product design engineer. I just want to make new things and get given a problem and find a way to make a solution for it.
When you're making those things, how long does something like that actually take from where it goes to your mind to product to that last piece?
Yeah, well, the brainstorming for me is pretty fast. I like to just say whatever comes to my brain and hopefully it's a good idea. But then actually making it, that could take a few months depending on how serious the thing is and how deep it needs to be made.
Sure. All right. So Division 3. I'm a student athlete thinking about playing D3, D2 maybe. What's gonna kind of move me towards wanting to be a D3 athlete? And what do you think are the positive differences for that student athlete by maybe going, Division two, or potentially not playing and going, as a walk-on D1? And I'll let any of you take that platform.
Yeah, sure. I can jump on really quick with that. I think one of the things that I love about the Division III experience, in particular within the Centennial Conference, is it's really low travel. So just for athletes, like maintaining that time in class and having part of their weekend like regular college students, like it's just such a huge asset and advantage, and it helps you integrate into the overall university or college environment a bit better. We're, like Janelle said, we're probably the second most competitive conference in the country field hockey wise, and our furthest trip is about 2 hours and 45 minutes. And so what that does is allow our students to stay in class and to have their Sundays off with that Wednesday, Sunday game schedule, and just creates a really nice sense of balance for their holistic experience, which is awesome. And they still get to play really competitive hockey, which is great.
Fantastic. Janelle?
Yeah, I was just I want to reiterate the balance. And that's one of the biggest things that we talk about in our whole recruiting process too, with those athletes that are kind of considering still maybe at different division levels and trying to figure that out. We feel really lucky to be in a spot where we don't have to travel a ton, as Jane mentioned as well, but also just having the opportunity to study and have lots of balance within each of their weeks because of that travel schedule being so light. So that's a huge piece for us for sure.
Mm-hmm. Lila, you're in it, so you tell us from your perspective.
Yeah, I think especially I came from Division I, so I have the experience of seeing both now. And it's definitely a big advantage to not have to miss as much class. Most of our trips are day trips, so just go to the game, come back, whereas before I'd have to miss a few days of school at a time. But it's also really cool to see a bunch of my teammates here are in Greek life, and so they get to do so many more other experiences that in another division you might not be able to do. So it really gives you a more well-rounded experience, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm. And Johns Hopkins is a little bit different because in other sports you are D1, like in lacrosse and everything. But if you guys could just explain to me in both schools the balance between like a ratio between a student and student teacher ratio in the classrooms. What are the typical sizes that a student athlete can think about? Janelle?
Yeah, so Ursinus is quite small. So our class schedule or our class balance is about 20 students in a classroom. There are some bigger classes, some general education classes that might be a little bit larger than that, but generally the professor-student ratio is really fantastic for a really personal experience.
Jane, Lou?
Yeah, I think on our end it varies pretty widely depending on your major and area of study and what classes you're taking. Like if you're a first year in an intro calc class, it's going to be pretty big, kind of that classic university large lecture environment. But for our students who are upperclassmen and some of our smaller majors, they're going to have classes that are 10, 12, 15 students in their class. So it does kind of vary greatly, but mostly depending on what you want to study.
Mm-hmm. The as far as the season is concerned, the preseason's a little bit short or a little bit different. I would imagine with your guys' schedules. Did you all feel any type of a flow with the Olympics this year? As far as more interest in the sport and maybe grassroots around you coming into the preseason at all?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the excitement of just the sport getting such worldwide, because of the Olympics being aired, it just brought everybody to that spirit of like, let's go. I'm ready for my season. Let's get started. Let's get back to campus. We always have lots of things going on, or the players do over the summer. They like to play summer league and do lots of things, but I think it just brought that high level of excitement for the sport, ready for preseason in a different way this year for sure.
How about Hopkins?
Yeah, I think it was great to see. I know I was more excited going into preseason just from getting to watch the high level play, and I think our players were feeding off of that as well. We're still educating folks about field hockey, of course, but I think the Olympics was like a great stage to showcase our amazing sport on. So it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and heading into preseason, it gave everyone just like a quick, easy bonding topic to talk about because all of us were watching it this summer, and all of us could talk about the crazy things we saw happen in the games and everything.
Right. What did either team? Did you guys do anything fun in the off season? Little bonding sessions away? Did you take the team up in the mountains, or little anything to get everybody on the same page this year?
We didn't do anything like extra this particular year, but every few years we do travel abroad as a team. So that's our little extra that we typically do in May at the end of the school year, but also it's with all of our returning players for the following year. So that's actually coming up for us this May. We're going to be traveling abroad, which is a really cool opportunity. I don't know how many schools take advantage of that at our Division III level, but we're excited to travel. We're going to Cape Town, which is amazing. So that's going to be a great trip where we're going to get to play hockey and bond and also explore the area and do some community service. So we're excited for that opportunity.
Excellent. That sounds great. Jane?
Janelle, that trip sounds amazing. Can I come?
Can we go?
We do. We have some stuff that we do during preseason that's smaller stuff. But one of the things that we've done the last 2 years that's been kind of fun is our opening weekend. We do our one overnight trip. And so it's just nice before school really gets going to have the team like spending the night in the hotel and hanging out and just relaxing together. And so I can kind of let Lila speak on what preseason and early season were like for the team.
Yeah, preseason's just a really cool time to get all that extra added team bonding time in because we're with each other all day, every day. And I thought it was super cool. Each time we had a team meal, we get split up into different groups. It was always usually pretty random, like sometimes just by birth month and random things like that. And then Jane would always give us like one starting conversation topic. And I think that just itself was a really good way to get to know each other, really light stakes. And then we'd also do stuff like an ice cream trip as a team, or we all went to the movies and we had different carpool groups. So that was also just another great way to hang out.
Excellent. Well, we're going to take a real brief time out here on the show. When we come back, we'll take a look at the D3 poll that's out. We'll talk a little bit more hockey about in depth with these two teams, and we'll have much more for you ahead right here on Turf Talk. So stay with us. Welcome back to Turf Talk. Today we're talking D3 hockey, and why not? Got some great schools, we got some great programs. We're in the mix of the season, and as everyone knows and follows, and I don't know how much you guys follow the polls, but do you follow the polls? And how much and how closely are you watching? Using it as a motivation or?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this year having the NPI has been fun too. It's just like a new thing to look at in addition to the polls, the coaches poll and Massey ratings and different tools like that. Definitely fun to track other teams' progress as well as our own.
Yeah, we love the poll. It's a great opportunity just to showcase our sport and to get it out there too, that, we're competing against other ranked teams or other top teams that are flirting with the ranking. So it's been fun to watch along.
Absolutely. Middlebury's 12-0 right now. Salisbury 11-1. Williams undefeated at 10-0. Johns Hopkins 11-2. And then it kind of the poll, the bottom side of the top 10 pretty much stayed the same. Really the only difference, Tufts and Babson flip-flopped in that 7-8 spot in the polls this week. Janelle, I got to ask, or Jane, I have to ask you, you guys have been so close last 3 years. Yeah. So close. And Lila, was that one of the motivations to come back 3 years in a row as runner-up nationally?
Yeah, it was definitely a huge motivation. And on the flip side, I have also been in that position the past 2 years, being a runner-up. So I can definitely relate to the feeling, and I can fit in well with my teammates and have that extra motivation and know where they're coming from.
11 different goal scorers on your team. You're right up there. Do you like distributing the ball or scoring off the ball?
I like both. I like whatever gives our team the best position. So whether that's taking it myself or dishing off for someone else, whatever gives us the best advantage.
Actually, 16 different goal scorers for you guys this year, which is pretty amazing. Janelle, you spreading the wealth as well. Mary Lauren Franz with 12 goals on the year, leading the team with 11 different goal scorers. A big group back for you. How difficult is it to get that distribution? But how fun is it when you're trying to create plays, especially on the APC side or something?
Yeah, we have a lot of different goal scorers, which is fun, and I think our depth on our bench this year is awesome. So we have the opportunity to get more people in without really feeling like there's any dip in play, which is really, really amazing. But also, it's been a challenge to make sure that we have people out there and flowing and finding connections with each other while they're in and out of the game, and trying to use everybody's strengths. But we have a ton of awesome goal scorers, so we're excited for what's to come.
And Andrea Pallinetti, your goalie, doing a great job this year. 1.56 goals against average and 62 saves. Does she giving a little love to the defense in front of her as well?
Yeah, she's amazing. She's super athletic and comes up with big saves and really keeps us in games that could have gone a terrible different way had she not done her job and done it so well. We have a solid line of defenders right in front of her, so she does have a lot of support. But she has come up huge in multiple games for us, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Jane, your staff has been recognized 4 times as a regional staff of the year. And when we're talking D2 and D3 levels, there's not a lot of pay in it. You're learning the sport more so to grow to get to that next level. What would you say about the group that surrounds you and their devotion to the game of hockey when really compensation is not really a big part of it?
Sure. I'd love to speak first about James Albanese, our associate head coach. He wanted to be here today, but wasn't able to make it. He's just been such a huge part of everything we've done over the last 3.5 seasons. And so senior day this past Saturday was really special, not only for our seniors, but for James as well, because it's like kind of his senior day in a way too. So he notched his 75th victory with the team over those 4 seasons, which is incredible, and really proud of everything that he contributes. He's especially passionate about our attacking unit and attacking penalty corners. And so Lila's had a chance to work with him a lot, so I'll let her share some as well. And then our other staff, it's just so great to have some young alums involved. So Sienna Urbanski and Michaela Schoaf are both helping out with the team a little bit. And they both were seniors last year. So it's been great to have them on staff. They help kind of bridge that gap for us as we continue to get older and students are staying the same age. It's really nice to have some young alums on staff that can help us connect a little bit easier and know more about the sides of the team culture that we don't see. That's always helpful to have. And then we also have Merritt Davis on staff, who's been with me since I first got to Hopkins. She's actually a Dickinson grad. She was an All-American left defender at Dickinson.
Nice.
And she started at Hopkins the same time I did, and she was fresh out of college. So it's been fun to see her like grow and mature in her life and also in her hockey life as well over these last 7 years or so. And then Britt Walker, our previous full-time assistant, is still around once a week or so to help with goalkeepers. And so it's great to have that connectivity to kind of the previous group at Hopkins. But I would love for Lila to kind of share a little bit about James and our other coaches that she's had a chance to work with.
Yeah, James has been great. Every time we do corners, like it's always fun. James is always up with the APCs and James with DPCs, so it always is like a fun rivalry between them too, and then makes us even more competitive. But James just brings a really good competitive spirit and also good like technical and tactical advice, which is always great. And I do my like individuals with him, so we just get a lot of like shooting, a lot of attacking reps in, which is always really fun. But I really love how Sienna and Michaela came back because they're like, Michaela and I are the same age. So it's kind of fun, like as if I was here last year because we would be the same year. And so it's really good to get to know them and also to have the people who played with them still get to hang out with them and learn from them. And then everybody who's new gets to see their points of view and like how they did things on the press, for example. And so it's really great having them come back, and I feel like we always have another extra coach there almost every day with all of the people we have on staff.
Excellent. Janelle, you recognized your staff online on Instagram the last few weeks here, and you as well. I mean, certainly it takes a village, right? And they can sometimes take the weight off of your shoulders or provide that different perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel really lucky to have the staff that I do. We actually don't have anybody that's full-time as an assistant. So it's just me in the office every day. And that's been challenging to try to make sure that we're doing all of the things that we need to do to be successful. So I'm super fortunate to have two assistants that do get a very small stipend to be able to help out, and then 3 volunteer assistant coaches. And my volunteer assistant coaches, it's quite amazing that they are willing to come and they love the program and dive in every single day as if they work full time for my staff. So they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it is, and it's interesting too because I think when I was an assistant coach, I broke down my pay, and it came to like $51 a week. So I was having a conversation with the players on the bus. And I'm like, yeah, you guys don't get it. Like we're not. It's not about the paycheck here. It's because I love you guys and I want you to excel and do well. And I love the sport. And certainly, someday we all hope that the pay balances out and stuff. But a lot of times it's because you love the game and you don't want to leave it in any other way, for sure, right? As you guys progress down the stretch now, the stretch run, do all 3 of you feel like you haven't quite peaked yet, or you just like there's so much room to grow? Where do you feel that balance is right now?
Yeah, I feel like we just had a conversation with my team and our leaders on the team about this. That I think that we're feeling like we're on this verge of kind of next level or that next step. And we're actually on fall break right now, and it's so refreshing to have the players come in yesterday for practice, and they were like, it feels like preseason. All I have today is field hockey. And it just felt like such a refreshing day for them. So it's been really nice to have this mid-season kind of academic break for a little resurgence with the energy and all of the things that we need from a hockey perspective. But yeah, we've also had a couple of rough injuries the past couple of weeks, and kind of coming on the other side of that this week has been good to see some people returning to the field and getting back and getting healthy. So I'm excited for the second half of this conference play.
Excellent.
Lila, you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, I feel like every day at practice, we just keep getting more competitive. And so I'm hoping that the momentum just keeps building and that we're not peaking yet. We're just going to keep going. Because I feel like every day we all just get closer with each other and we have more fun. And the level of play just gets better. So it's funny, we're actually coming up on our fall break this weekend, Thursday and Friday. So I feel like it'll be like the same thing because we have lots of more like time together back to back with the team and less time to work on classes and just lots of time to be together and focus on our hockey.
Yeah, I think we're all ready for a little fall break, coaches and players alike. I mean, just for us to be getting home at 5 or 6 o'clock rather than 7:30 or 8:30 p.m. will make a huge difference, and just feeling a little bit more rejuvenated going into the weekend. And we were able to finagle our conference schedule and move some things around so that we don't have a game next Wednesday. And so that will be a nice break too, especially back to back with fall break as we prepare for the last couple conference games and then the conference tournament. So a lot of exciting stuff ahead. And like Lila and Janelle, I'm hopeful there's more to come.
Excellent. We're going to take a quick timeout. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at the Division II and Division I polls, and also our play of the week here on Turf Talk. So stay with us. Welcome back to Turf Talk, as we're talking D3 hockey as well, and I'm gonna bring in the D2 poll now because it's fun to watch all the different polls, right? And so, ladies, Shippensburg remains at number 1 in D2. They're 11-0. Some shifting is again slightly in D2 with St. A's moving back into the top 10 this week. Mansfield rounding out the top 10. You guys follow the 2 and the 1 polls much? Yeah. What intrigues you most about like the D2 poll here as we look at it? Anything stand out?
We're always on the lookout for St. A's. Our center back, Liz Falter, her twin sister is their starting goalkeeper. And so it's fun to kind of track her progress and success as well. And it's been especially fun this year. It's actually why we did senior day when we did. It wasn't our last home game, but their mom reached out and was like, "Oh, I'm so panicked about 2 senior days and balancing this." And so we were able to make it work for a family to be able to fully celebrate both, which was great.
Nice. Anybody else keep an eye on D2s?
Yeah, I always look at all the polls. I think that there's so much hockey just in our area too. So it's just interesting to see what other local teams are doing and how they're competing against other schools within the region. So it's fun to watch.
Absolutely. Well, if we're all watching, let's look at D1 then. So Carolina remains at number 1. They're 10-0. I'll actually be on the Carolina Wake game Friday on the ACC network at 6 p.m. Eastern time. They also have ODU. Now, Northwestern, as we know, is well on their heels, looking to try to get back and create that opportunity for a 4th consecutive trip to the Final Four, 13-0. They're a fun team to watch, aren't they, Northwestern, with Sessa and Zimmer and all those guys? Lila, you're shaking your head. Yeah. What do you like the best about watching the Wildcats?
Well, right now, I really love how, all of my friends are still there, all of my past teammates. So I know everyone on the field. I get to root for everybody. And even the new people that I didn't get to meet, I pretend that I know them. So it's fun to watch them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The flip-flop there, another Philly school, Janelle, especially for you, St. Joe's with a big upset over UVA. That was a great game last week. Did you get a chance to watch any of the clips on that one?
I haven't yet, but I plan to. Yeah, there's lots of upsets and fun things happening within the sport, especially in that top 10. So yeah, gonna catch that.
Absolutely. And now we're going to take a look at our Longstreth highlight of the week. And I want to preface this, if you have a highlight from around the country that you would like to have considered for our show, on the back side of this highlight, there'll be a slate and it will tell you exactly where to send it to. And it's admin@maxfieldhockey.com. for consideration to be on the show every week. We get a lot of posts, a lot of people submit. So don't be afraid to submit your potential highlight of the week. So here we go. This is number 1 Hill versus Essex High School, and Katie Moran is in goal. Watch what Katie does. Fortunately, Essex lost that game 1-0, but it probably could have been more if Katie didn't make one of those 19 saves on the game. Pretty stellar effort. Gotta love it when the keeper lays it out like that, right? So, thank you, all of you, for joining us on the show today. We certainly appreciate your time. We wish you well down the stretch. Lila, go build great things, right?
I'll try my best.
Well, you know what the big thing is here? You've got 2 great degrees. You're going to be so far ahead of all your peers once you get out in that business world, just because of your experiences, and part of those experiences with your field hockey team as well.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
Great. Very best to you. Jane, Janelle, thank you as well for joining us on the show today. We appreciate your time and hope you'll join us back, maybe somewhere down the road real soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much. That'll wrap up this edition of Turf Talk. We appreciate you. We want you to make sure that you're talking hockey all the time. It's a long season, but we're almost down the stretch of the final season, and we'll see you next week on Turf Talk.